Are you ready? Ready to bring a revolution to your relationships? Ready for the experiences on your dating adventure to evolve? Ready for more passion, intimacy, connection, and love in your relationship? Ready to heal past relationship wounds? You're in the right place. I'm Alan, the love engineer, and this is the Relationship Revolutions podcast. In this series, you'll get guidance and tips from me, interviews from other relationship experts, insights from couples who already have a great relationship, and other mind-opening conversations. G'day and welcome to the latest episode of Relationship Revolutions, where this week we are talking about one of those things in life that, especially in the Western world, we are told and conditioned and learned not to talk about. Yet it's one of the biggest causes of conflict between couples in relationship, and that is the lovely subject of money. So I've invited my good friend Paul McGowan on, from How To Financial, and we're going to dig into that. So first two questions. Firstly, Paul, welcome to Relationship Revolutions. And secondly, first two questions, how are you and where are you?
How am I? I am very well. Very nice weekend in sunshine where I live. So, however, I spent most of it indoors painting and decorating. Did most of it out as well and sit in the sunshine. Actually, sat on my wet sand beach outside and fell asleep yesterday. So that was quite pleasurable. Where am I? I am in Korea. Often people think it's the Lake District, so I'm on the eastern side of Korea, which is about 20 miles from Penrith. So we're on the side of Korea that adjoins the Yorkshire Dales National Park, which is equally as nice, but not as busy. Tend to avoid the Lake District at this time of year, because you can't get anywhere for tourists. So, but yeah, that's where we are.
Yes, yeah, I grew up in the tourist trap of Stratford-on-Avon. They bring a lot of money to the town, but they're often a pain in the rear end.
I think it's worse than that, I've been told you.
I'm sure you have. Especially the lots of Japanese tourists taking pictures of anything and everything and don't care if they stand in the middle of the road or they just want that perfect picture.
Yeah, that's the one.
So, Paul, how did you get into the world of finance? Was it straight from school, or was there a bit of a journey or adventure to get to where you are now?
A little bit of a journey. So, when I was at school, I often talked about listening to networking meetings and the podcasts. I wasn't quite an academic person. However, my school reports usually said that always easy led astray, and that was the case. Way back a long time ago, 57 this year, I was entered for 9 O levels at the time. I only managed to pass one of them because clearly I didn't do enough revision because playing other things in my life and distractions, etc. So I enrolled to do my A levels, so I had a lot of work to do to reach my O levels and whilst studying my A levels. Which I did, it's hard work. And then I ended up doing my A levels, and I thought about going to university. I'd worked in construction. Quite like the idea of getting involved in being a chartered surveyor, as the labourer and worked hard for not lots of money, and had to kind of work under these people that obviously if it's a union, they'll make a lot of money in a career and all that kind of thing. So I was kind of thinking about that, and then I always had an interest in travelling, so I decided, no, actually, I'm not going to go to university. Literally, that's decided. I decided I was going to do an area. So I went to did a social test, to fitness test and all that kind of stuff, and then some kind of academic tests. And I passed all along and was offered a career area in electronics. I don't know where that came up, but it's a bit random, but I decided that I thought, yeah, maybe I'll do that. When I got accepted, the intake was kind of 9 months down the line. and my dad. I grew up in Birmingham, if you didn't know that. My dad obviously is in construction, and he's an Irish guy, and a very kind of direct, and you're not sitting on your ass for the next 9 months, sleeping in all that, and you know yourself a job. Obviously you do put in a solid job for a trainee insurance agent. Obviously got way back then than I was told. We did have the internet, we didn't have Facebook and all that kind of thing. It was like the newspaper, so I thought, I'll apply for that, and I had no idea what it was about. Anyway, I went for the interview, and I got offered the job. And my dad, I remember my dad said at the time, "If you're not working in insurance or all crooks," and you're left with 40 years out of life, I'm still in insurance. Well, I was like, maybe people might remember that from the man from the Prudential or something like that, and there's big these coming up, you know, and collect the insurance fees, the life insurance, house insurance, and stuff like that. So I've kind of helped out the existing agents who are on holiday, going around doing their collections for them. So I ended up working all over the Northwest. In the days before sat back, you had to use aces after. I really would wonder whether you people could actually do that. In fact, they get some very big writers that we worry about. And then some kind of working in an office, which would do account for all the takings. So there was a system of processes, all very manual, all computers were both big now. Anyway, I used to get a bonus for new customers or talking to people, or I'd say to the agent about territory, well, that person wants to, take to work insurance out or whatever it may be, house insurance, car insurance, and they used to do that as well. I used to get a bonus for that, and first and third week's wages pay £160. I was thought about that at the time, but there was a couple of years younger than me, he was just started a YTS apprenticeship as an electrician, and then mate was a mechanic, and lots of people have gone and not done the academic thing, they've gone and done, doing a trade. And the wages, I think, like £29.50 a week, so I was earning substantially more than all my friends and everything else. I thought, well, I'd be getting mileage in this. Not that I'm only going to tell you that, I don't know really why I say that, but I then ended up deciding not to join the RAF, and then I got my own territory, my own area, and was quite successful with that, and then got promoted to sales manager, and then a branch manager, and I was only 21 as a branch manager. And it's about 25 staff working over there. I was the oldest one in the company. And then progressed up to kind of other items were in a free world and stuff like that. And then 27 years ago, I decided that I hated all the sales targets and sales culture. I had to go by members of my sales team say what business to move on today, and then I have to report that into my regional manager. I absolutely hated it. It was so stressful. So me and my ex-wife just bought a new house with our mortgage. We just had all the babies, like 2 young kids. I thought it would be a good idea to start my own business. And that's what I did 27 years ago. And I tried a company called Norway Dunbar. Which do not around anymore, but that's really where I learned properly about finance with Varito and that kind of stuff. And then I became I left there after about a year and became an ISA. And said that I didn't want to be working with one company, I wanted to be able to give advice across a range of products of different companies. It's the independent route is the way to go. Here we are, 27 years later. Back in 2011, we had a business where there's 3 directors and a general in the business, and we had 8 financial advisors as well. All the directors were financial advisors, so we had 11 in the team, all about me staff. And I ended up with a really bad divorce, which affected my mental health, and ended up work for about 18, 20 months. I decided when I was in a position to think about this stuff. When I came back, and I realised I was doing all the hours that got sent and probably not spending enough time with my colleague and things like that. So I decided that I was going to leave that business and set up my own, because I didn't want all the hours and pressure and time and compared to costs and all it, and I think that was really slight to the business. That's what I've been doing over the last 11 years. Now we have a team, people that are weren't really introduced us to, so we've worked closely with 2 mortgage advisors, to work another. And I've got finance planning out to people with pensions and investments and savings and all this kind of stuff. He's called Harry. And then the day-to-day admin stuff, like also Emma works for me full time, so she looks after all the admin for me. It's fantastic. The more I've helped out with managing the diary and stuff like that. So it's all this from a business, we're able to help in lots of ways financially, kind of thing. So that's a bit of a potted history of where we come from to where we are now.
Yeah, one question that comes up for me, having spoken to our mutual friend Jamie Stewart on the podcast recently, and he said that when he started his business, it was brought a challenge to his marriage at that time because it was a different mindset and he became a different person. So I'm wondering if your wife at that time was supportive of you setting up your own business, or whether that played a part in the breakup and the divorce and all the other stuff that went along with it.
She's certainly supportive of me setting up my own business. I mean, we kind of didn't do it on a whim. I did have a saying behind me, etc. The idea, I guess, was we had those more more time freedom. So when you're employed, you're responsible to, manage as a good year, you're responsible to start the lawyer, that kind of stuff. And it was really stressful, so I just thought it would give us more time freedom, we could spend more time with the family together, having more holidays and that kind of thing. The reason to have a marital breakdown was personal, so I really wanted to go into it, on the podcast, yeah. But yeah, she was supportive, absolutely 100% supportive. But I guess probably, you look at these things, so you have to, you're able to look back on things, and having been kind of not well with mental health stuff going on, it kind of get time to reflect about what kind of things can come a little bit differently. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, of course it is. But clearly the pressures of running a slightly bigger business and worrying about cash flow all the time. And to be fair, I was the go-getter in the business, so I was the person that was doing the recruitment, I was doing the training, and probably doing more business, twice, 3 times as much business as any other advisor. So it takes its toll on you.
It certainly does.
And it's where we are now.
Yeah, and I think one of the things we don't learn when we first go self-employed, you sort of have that thought that, okay, so I'm great at providing this service, I'll keep doing that because that's what I'm good at. My boss is charging 3 times more than what he's paying me, so I can charge a little bit more and everyone's a winner. But what you don't necessarily think about is all the other hats that you've got to wear, the admin, the accounting, and the marketing, the sales. You've got to do it all. And I think that's partly why self-employed people end up doing the hours that they do and burn out.
Yeah, I agree. I think possibly, people need to look at this seriously. They need to have a business to know what are the reasons why they want to start a business. I think it needs to be realistic with their expectations, around time and money and all that kind of thing. Having had the benefit of being in business for a long time, I mean, it could be one thing that I hadn't seen in business in 1 year that I'd be doing, and that just comes with time and that comes with experience. I often find, speaking to businesses when they're fairly young, that are like really get keen and excited, about sacking the boss and, in this time freedom and all. Well, that moving to the top tips I give to people really is surround yourself with other business owners. I mean, you and I go networking with certain networks. It's hard circle networks, but the support you can get from people who maybe have been in business longer than you or do different things, or everybody does things differently. I mean, people sometimes go down a rabbit hole for for long periods of time chasing what they think is the answer, and having had the benefit of speaking to somebody maybe who'd been down that rabbit hole before them, and saving a lot of time, a lot of frustration, a lot of anxiety, and a lot of money out of things. But it's surrounding yourself a bit with experience, and I think for me, I mean, I've kind of really changed how I do things this last few years. I mean, kind of good to employees, their family members, but that takes a lot of stress away from me. I mean, particularly my daughter Emma. I mean, we kind of had an office before COVID. She quit a previous job. She was in financial services before. I was in administration. Also, she has some experience. So we've got this lovely serviced office, and then COVID came along and put paid to that. Obviously, I had to shut the office, and in the meanwhile through COVID, she met up with us for not long ago, and she got another dog, and then I told her we all in the office and stuff, and she said, well, I don't want to come back to work, and we kind of moved the business online using video meetings and online technology and stuff like that. And for me, it was trusting, developing that trust with her, because I don't see her, I don't micromanage her anymore. She knows she has stuff that she needs to do. And she gets it done. So when I'll say to you, I start at 9 and you've got to finish at 5, and then sometimes I might start at 10 and work till 7. It's putting it to do, and let you be flexibility and trust, which really is, can be quite helpful. Therefore, outsourcing as well, and in business, and trying to do everything yourself is difficult. It takes away a lot of headspace and doesn't allow you to focus on your business. So I've always outsourced. Of course, I get the people who need to do this kind of thing, but quite fortunately, on an established business. But I was trying to do everything myself, and the overall in place for your
yes.
You always have that. There's always that weird point spinning, and worrying about cash flow and stuff like that. But I found that outsourcing, like the social media, to Barrett and his wife Rachel. I've had a VA in the past. But that kind of thing up time to self work on the business, that corporate working on your business rather than working. So, and then running from a financial point of view, not just what you're earning, and just make sure you're going to ask some questions around this. Is having your ducks in a row financially as much as you possibly can, within a kind of budget that you've got.
Yeah, because I think in some ways we, in this country especially, we kind of taught that the best place to talk money is the bank, whereas they're a business same as anyone else, and you are the customer. You go in there, they are there to make money out of us. They don't necessarily talk that way, but what I find is when you step outside of those more traditional companies, institutions, call them whatever you will, there are much, much better deals and better advice, because they'll only ever sell their own products.
Yeah. I mean, for many, when I look at what financial advice it means a lot of things to a lot of people. But and for me in particular, because I'm the MD of the firm, I hate that bloody title, and I don't like that grandeur of it. But I'm the kind of person I've got the steering ship a bit low out. So for us, we have a vision that everybody should have financial advice. So you use the bank, we mentioned the bank terms as an example. the banks came into the financial services industry, a few years ago. Most times, banks started off basically as a way of, save you money and pay your bills, stuff like that. But clearly, as the banks built their kind of client base and the amount of people that are using the services, then it is the perfect opportunity for them to be able to kind of cross-sell the stuff to them. Nobody needs to tell them about what's going on with the BPI scandal and, loads of other stuff over the years. And there's a big thing going on today about, for example, finance companies that people have bought cars or motorbikes or campers or whatever it may be using finance to a finance company. So they've also dealer buy something and the dealers were open to set the interest rate at, with the reason what we wanted to enhance what commission we've got. So I'm sure people have seen this, it's all over the internet at the minute. So really about to take in a lot of instances they've gone away from the day-to-day financial stuff. So it's just some of the things that we do to go back to their core offering in terms of, bank accounts, loans, credit cards, that kind of stuff. They do give some financial advice, but often the person needs to be a Lordy person for them to kind of fit into their business model. That leads me back to, when I first started talking back to Nick, is that financial advice is for everybody, not just for the elite that are, have got loads of money. And in terms of what I mean by that, I'm quite keen to speaking skills about the basics of financial stuff. You ask young people, people in school, what's a credit card, what's the loan, what's the amount you get, and all this kind of stuff. Most of them have no idea. You might have a little kid's savings account or something like that. What else kind of make sure that you have a good credit rating for when you want to buy a house at some point in the future and you go to pay your bills all the time and obviously credit card payments and stuff like that. It's not just about selling products to people, it's also about, making money. As an example, I know lots of people in our industry or my industry, because I've been in it a long time, got friends who have financial services. I sometimes meet or speak to, particularly about networking, a financial advisor, and I'll say, what do you do? Well, you say, I'm thinking of a person who wanted to say the name, that's a professional, or he just offers pension advice, for example. His business model is that he wants to run about 100 customers and also £1 million worth of pensions and savings and investments, and just look after them 100 customers. He and a lot of other financial advisors like this, he doesn't offer, wider financial advice, although people, financial advisors are qualified to talk about all this stuff. It will be like that, the rules will probably alter that, but in time, just basic insurance, and I would say, isn't it lovely to have, £200,000-300,000 of the pension funds, but what happens if you get seriously ill before you retire? What happens if you've got a family and, you pass away and that, your family lose that person's income? So insurance really comes into play as well, and often I just know because I pick up so many new clients and they've not this stuff, and often if they have got something, it's sometimes, not fit for purpose and out of date. So we and I believe that financial advice is for everybody, and things will be in that point. I also think that there, for example, my solicitor, so no, she has really good money, probably around £100,000 a year. Her husband earned something similar. She said to Paul, I believe you care about a couple of meetings about bits and bobs and stuff. So we just got talking generally about money, and she said, I feel like that there's 2 months left at the end of the month. That's a couple of earning £200,000 a year.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people earning a lot less than that. And she said, it's never any money left at the end of the month. And so, if you want to, we can go through hand services. How much you want you to person and you want to have authorized to do, they're not qualified. But I don't choose not to do this to. He needs to be having finger on the pulse, for example. But when we do more, which is the people often when they go through the bank statements, have a look in detail where they're spending money, so you kind of fix spending every month, things you've got to pay, like your mortgage, your rent, and your utility council tax, put food on, all that kind of stuff. But what discretionary spending people spend money on? And it never ceases to amaze me when people talk about money. We might have a chat about the insurance recommendation, like that kind of thing. And so I can afford that. I think I actually looked through the bank statements and I paid £100 to Sky. They've got the latest, Apple iPhone, or some people like Apple, so the latest Android phone. And then, in the example of the solicitor that Matt just mentioned, looking at bank statements, really had 2-3 times a week. Really expensive holidays every couple of months. And I'm not saying people shouldn't eat out, I'm not saying people shouldn't go on holiday, and they shouldn't not have Sky if that's their thing. But you can soon, you kind of have this kind of spending up, see where people's money is going, and how it is going, kind of thing. So with a few tweaks and kind of some questions and ideas, she's decided that she's going to rein in the spending on the discretionary stuff. Maybe only that once a week, for example, when they only have, instead of having the full Sky package that been done for live football, they might have got the sports element of it and these kind of things. I mean, how many people who've got, they change a whole lot of phone? It's because it's crazy every 2 years. Not sorry, a new phone. Well, so many deals out there for still only things now. I mean, what's wrong with a 2-year-old iPhone? I mean, here I am. I've got an iPhone 3, probably 3 or 4 years old.
So is mine.
I think I'm paying still only about
£20.
£12 a month or something. I don't need to have a new phone all the time. I'm supposed to go a bit slow, then I'll think about it. So it's things like that, really. So it's not just selling products, it's talking generally off that.
Yeah, what gets me is when I went through my bank statements a couple of years ago, it's like, well, how much money am I actually spending on Costa, Starbucks, Greggs and things like that, just for the convenience of having snacks and whatnot while I'm out and about? That scared me.
Yeah. Because if people start to do this exercise and kind of start to work this stuff out, I mean, you don't need to be a rocket scientist, you don't need to be a financial advisor to know this stuff. It's just, it's not the end of the day. I mean, one of the things I've said to people for years, I don't give advice on pensions and investments and savings, but, common sense thing, you say I don't get any money, and then you look at, well, actually, you probably could start to save some money, especially spending a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think some people in the past, from a saving point of view, I mean, the thing in our industry is that, people should have maybe 3 to 6 months with an income in case the worst happens, and insurance, talk about insurance and stuff like that. But just having that bit of a buffer there, that, if the power breaks down, or the washing machine blows up, or just having that emergency fund of money, just gives people comfort, and they then don't have to turn to these kind of, these short-term kind of finance things where these grow kind of really quickly. I would talk about this.
They're the ones with the ridiculously high interest rates, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. So, if you need that, for example, I always say to people, oh, can you save could you save £10 a week? Could you save £25 a week? And it's just setting up a standing order that goes from the current account to savings account and treating that like any other book kind of thing. And I think it's just habit forming when people get into the habit of doing this. Then they very soon forget about I'm actually saving, and how people come back to me and say, that's one of the best tips I've given people, because the managed gets into that savings kind of pattern of habit. People around and say beyond that, and there's this one of the 3 to 6 months. So I get that a lot of people in the red wire are not in preaching to people, this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do. But it's saying that to people that, maybe they have a reasonable kind of job, or feel like how money every month kind of thing. So things like that.
Yeah, I think when I was younger, the teaching of money I got was very simple. I think my dad says, well, you're going to earn some money, you're going to spend some money, and you need to save some money, and always make sure that you spend less than you earn, which is great advice for that day and age. But now there's ridiculous living expenses and credit cards and things like that. I think for a lot of people, it's the credit cards and loans and the interest that actually kill them. Because once you've got that good job or whatever it may be, and you can service those repayments, it's when that disappears, or you get divorced or something like that. That's when the shit hits the fan, for want of a better expression. It certainly did for me.
I often see people like got credit cards and stuff like that, for example. I mean, there's nothing new I'm saying here, but they just forget that they've got this credit card there, they're paying it every month. And of course, a lot of the credit card companies will entice people in. Get a card, get a credit card, transfer you all the time, I don't know that kind of thing. But often people, it kind of slips, and they end up then the deal rules out, and then they end up paying a lot of interest again, kind of thing. So there's a lot of credit card companies around where you can transfer balances, but it's not just making them do the payment. Can afford to pay more. It's obviously not just servicing if you are paying interest, but it's paying down some of that capital as well. So if somebody's got credit cards and they haven't looked at them for a while, and that's tops it, or the money supermarkets are something like that where they'll show what deals are available. You can. I've told people to probably have them to call it a credit card that where it's playing this as these companies are having to tap their own game, I guess. That kind of thing.
I think one of the two really good financial lessons I've picked up in the last decade, shall we say, one of which is relate to the interest rates, which was called the Rule of 72, which I would think you've probably heard of. An old banking principle where you divide the interest rate into 72, and it tells you how long it will take to double your money.
Yeah.
And so for a 3% interest rate, it takes you 24 years. So 6% would be 12 years, 12% would be 6 years, and that kind of thing. When you look at that, okay, so if I stick 100 quid in a bank account with a 3% interest rate, I'll have 200 quid in 24 years. And that's great, but you can't get a 3% interest rate these days. And then you sort of look at the credit card interest rates and those short-term loans, and it's not surprising how it adds up because we're not taught this stuff.
Yeah, and it's not surprising that translate the amount of money that they do.
Yeah.
When you think about, what interest rate they give on savings in comparison to what interest rates change at kind of borrowing, particularly short-term kind of, credit card stuff and, loans and things like that. So, yeah. I mean, the other things that kind of aware of, and I'm not here to say that they shouldn't have credit cards, because I have a lot of customers, me included, who use credit cards. And I may be playing it at their own day, the credit cards, for example, you might have to have 30, 40 days before you actually pay any interest. So if someone you use it wisely and just buy stuff that you need rather than what you want, then you play that balance every month. And it can be a good tool, credit card, if used correctly.
Yeah.
The relationship things, I guess, as well. Like Klarna, for example. At one time, and people were using Klarna, it was on the credit report. So if they were going through August, for example, the lender would do a credit test, see the credit warning, etc. They wouldn't have access to that data. But now they do. Now they do have access to that kind of data. Now, I've met lots of people that, particularly in the younger generation, it's simple financial advice that my parents says to me is if you can't afford it, then you can't have it. You can't pay for it in one go, then you can't have it kind of thing. Yeah, it's old school, and I'm not saying that we go back, to how we was years ago. Clover, for example, for the right people and things like Clover are just pay just for your 3 months and stuff like that. It's a good thing in some respects, but it can really easily get out of control. It's younger people, and I've seen it personally, they won't. I've got to have this fast fashion. I won't take hour, and you can have a whole podcast on just on fast fashion. I'm not fast fashion. Well, they went in your outfits for out on a Friday night of the weekend, and they went where he wants, and then he goes in the bin kind of thing, and the pay for it is 3 bucks kind of thing. So it's just insensible, really. I think that if you can't afford it in your pool, then don't have it. It's probably not a bad thing to do that.
Yeah, I've heard of some youngsters. What they'll do is they'll order this outfit online, try it on, if it fits, looks good, great. If they can't see the labels, they'll wear it out, and unless it gets dirty or anything, then they'll send it back and get the money back.
Yeah,
which is a little bit cheeky, and I'm not recommending people do this.
Yeah,
but there are some people that do.
I think that goes back to the whole kind of thing about people, saying they haven't got the money for the right financial goal to that insurance or wills or, whatever the case may be, when often they come out. If they actually do have a little bit of it, wasting money or something like that.
Yeah. Yes, down to knowing your priorities, where for most people having that new thing now or having that coffee every morning is more of a priority than paying for an insurance or a will that doesn't do anything for a few years unless something goes wrong.
Yeah. People think it's never going to, it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
So kind of thing is it's not going to, work from what we come across.
Yeah, very much so. Or if it's so far down the line, I've got plenty of time for that. I'll sort out my will and pension in a couple of years' time. It'd be great. The question is, what's the cost of not having these things in place?
Yeah, so I'm thinking about it exactly. I mean, as you already know, I'm a massive believer in Monica insurance in place.
Yes.
To have in the world and stuff. And I mean, I could listen a few tips around this kind of thing. I suppose if you look at insurance first, it kind of tends to follow two camps. There's those that haven't got anything, and there's those that have got something. For those that haven't got anything, what's the key reason why, they perhaps haven't thought about was the thing like so. I'm talking about insurance, I'm talking very generally about life insurance in place. So if you're single, haven't got any dependents, then arguably, you have to need life insurance. But if you're married level, then partnership somebody and you've got kids and often people go through divorcing and you'll mind. But need somebody else, and then after that, your parents got kids and they've got kids, and you get these blended hours, as you call it, kind of thing. So it's thinking then that is, then clearly, the families lost that income. Sometimes they might have stuff in place, they might have like an employer that the service cover, but not all employees, I know that they do a lot of work in that area. So, life insurance for me in that situation is crucial. You can't see that. So me, those you respect, and you're there. You're not there to see, the issues that behind, emotional, which is a big one, but also the financial ones is a massive one as well. And I've always said that, coming to emotional turmoil if somebody lost their partner or somebody passed away. That's tough. But being skinned as well is not a good place to be.
Yeah.
The life insurance it's fairly cheap. Obviously depending on age, in fact, it's smoke or no. But in comparison to most other insurance products that they do, which is crystal overs in good protection, I'll talk about that in a second. The Alabama is really cheap, really cheap. So that's the starting point, I guess, for most people. I don't also know a lot about the impacts of somebody getting ill.
Yeah.
And that I'll use me as an example because, when I was software 10, 11, 12 years ago, the level of really bad the health breakdown, I couldn't work, I couldn't think about anything. There's one way I was going to be able to sit in front of somebody and give them, financial advice because I didn't have any advice for that kind of thing. Well, for me, I had income protection in place, and I feel like most people thought I'll never need it, but hopefully I'll never need it. You never know what's around the corner. It's not just mental health, but also what's all stuff in that kind of cancer is like
Car
so
crash.
prevalent in society at the minute. There's so many people that cancer. God love him, Rob Burrows, very topical, passed away, I think, yesterday. 41, most of your illnesses, it does not to everybody. But it happens, things happen in life. And people wink, they're rather winging a prayer often because they haven't got this kind of stuff in place. But for me, it allowed me space and time to get my head together. And from a financial point of view, I was still paying the mortgage for quite some time after we split on the house. It was like to have that, selling it for my house. And I paid bills, that's how we kind of worked stuff out. But then I moved into a flat and then had to pay rent and then new council tax and utility. So, it was not a good place really, unless you got something late. And I did have income protection. It paid me, I think, about £2,500 a month, which is not life changing. Often I thought I want to, I wasn't in a place to do that. But it gave me the money to pay the bills and take that financial pressure away.
So where would you be at now if you didn't have that insurance in place at that time?
Honestly, I did really have a bit of savings, but I often didn't think about sort of riding alone. I was like anyone else, had a big mortgage, 2 young kids, but I worked part time. Also, at that age in my life, where I'd accumulated those savings and assets and everything else, you don't see now probably would have a different impact because I'm older, I've got a very small mortgage and I've got more savings and stuff. But which is nice, but I won't work with the answer right now. But yeah, the answer to your question, I think we'll also have potential. Because if you get into a reasonable mortgage, or even if you've rented and a lot of people rent, it can spiral out of control really quickly. And thought, having to have the house maybe repossessed of people to sell it. At the time when my kids were going through it as well, it wasn't just about me. My ex-wife, she was going through it as well. That could have happened, but it didn't, because to me, I don't talk about insurance to people or to recommend they have it. If I'm about myself, I think it's immoral. You have to have this stuff in place yourself. But I was someone I was doing that, I guess, probably in the late 20s, early. I think it was late 20s. I was paying £34 a month for this insurance. I claimed a little bit for 18 months, so quite a big point. And I'm not been able to go back to it at all. I can't remember the thought that. Then I would be still paying you now. It was to up until I'm 60, I think it was.
Yeah.
But I was still paying £34 a month for it now. So the best it is that these things, unless you want to increase your benefit level, they don't go up. Premiums are fixed, depending on the structure for their alternative policy. So £34 now is not a lot of money in comparison to what it was then. And for me, I think the best that world is people having enough money to satisfy all of the requirements they need from a financial advice before they be got off, and that's not the case. So they need to prioritise thinking about what's important. I mean, for everybody thinks differently. But for me, as I said before, if you're dead, you're dead. You don't really see what's going on. But if to be off ill for a period of time. Like for some people, I mean, I can't remember what the stats are. You reckon that the average family has got less than 2 weeks savings, so most people run out really quickly. Employees will always pay sick pay. A lot of them only pay statutory sick pay, which is liquidation. I mean, that's probably just over £100 a week. It's just on a way to live all that. So, for me, even percentage is fundamental. I absolutely believe that it is, doing things stay okay. You don't want to pay. Everyone, one after the other is doing their best to get people benefits. Benefits, as they say, after, capture those people that are really desperately financial, but there's not a lot of them, somebody's off state. They're earning, I don't know, 600-700 quid a week, 400 quid a week, whatever it may be. To go down and try to find 100 quid a week is difficult. If they're living with somebody, if they're a partnership, somebody they've got kids or married, then if their partner's working, they'll be expected to support them financially, not safe anything. But I think that's super important. To me, personally, I think that's the most important thing everybody should have in place. And I also think when people self-employed or, their own little business.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that's very almost critical to have, and when I was younger, I heard of it, I don't need to worry about that till I'm older, which is lasting power of attorney. And having seen the need for it with my dad when he had dementia and he was going downhill and he could not make those decisions. Luckily, we got it in place. And then there's part of me thinking, yeah, but that's years away. But you could be in the same position if you have a car crash or a brain tumor or cancer or anything, and these things can come at you at any point in time in life. So can you share a little bit about what lasting power of attorney is and that kind of thing?
How we do it, we don't deal with Scottish laws. It's on the bottom right here is the well. I just be quiet. So there's two facts of lasting power of attorney. One is for finance and privacy, and the other one is health and welfare. So if people with house kind of been happening, then we often want to. It's obviously got had to, but it's just personal choice. So I'll deal with each one separately. So the finance and property elements is if somebody loses capacity, then you're right. It's not. People often perceive this as like it's like older people and think about capacity as sort of getting Alzheimer's or dementia or something like that. When we're a lot older, but you're right. That people can. If they get hit by a bus, is one of the famous things, isn't it? Or if they have a car accident, they could have a brain tumor and then a coma or a stroke or a heart attack, there's lots of things. So if they lose capacity, most people don't know what actually happens. So what actually does happen is this is somebody, a medical professional, doctor certified that somebody's lost capacity in the first instance. Like if somebody's got lost capacity with regards to finance and stuff, got a bank account in their own name, or indeed if they have a joint bank account with their partner or spouse. A lot of people have a joint bank account with those like that. So the bank accounts get frozen. What that means is that if it costs getting paid for their job, let's say they were lucky enough to have sick pay, and the employer was continued to pay them, they try to get the account to be returned to the employer. The frozen means you can't accept any it and then they can go out. But if they've got bills, either direct debits for mortgage, rent, stuff like that, they just get returned. The direct debit gets returned. So practically, in that instance, if they're married or in a partnership with somebody, when the person that's left behind is responsible now to pay all the bills out of their own income because they can't get access to the bank accounts for a period of time. And that unlawful power of attorney in place, what their loved ones would have to do is they have to file to the court to protect the negacyship. And that keeps the money reliant and separate the bank account. So I'll go to the bank and say, look, you don't breathe and have that. I've got this piece of paper that said, I can now deal with that person's finances. However, that can take maybe 6, 12, 18 months in some instances. And it can be quite expensive, anything from £2,000, £3,000, £4,000 upwards to get that for a quarter through that process. So meanwhile, if you take a long time, then the direct access to the one's accounts. Like when melting my attorney, making while you've got capacity to do so, you then pointing an attorney whilst you've got capacity to say, if this does happen, then I want this person to tell us what great amounts out to you all know. So it's a much easier process than going through the court protection route. So I encourage everyone to have one. And also, if you're a business, you can, to become a business, and for example, the invoice or to clients for money dashed you in, if the glass is paid and they don't get the bank account, etc.
Yeah.
So it can also deal with the business own background and property, health and welfare is exactly what it says on the tin. That person's lost capacity and needs ongoing medical stuff. And that decision, if you're saying for that person's welfare, treating them how they have, visiting a GP, and stuff like that. If they need nursing care, we don't have this in place. The council, the local council, discharge that person, or the hospital discharge that person to perhaps the cheeky nursing home, which could be million miles away from where the loved ones live. So all of those kind of decisions taken out of the loved one's hands. But having both health and welfare, and the loved ones have a lot of control about what goes on.
Beautiful. I think everyone listening, if they haven't got LPA in place, they need to look into it.
They do, and we do that, of course. I'm not going into the pitch stuff, but we do that. And there's one thing I also mentioned as well, is when we talk about Austin Power Attorney, that's estate planning. Let's just look one of some shared with Austin Power Attorney, part of estate planning, but to notice that maybe some of the people that listen to your podcast, it's about relationships, which often fail and blah, blah, blah. If somebody hasn't got a will, has a will in place and they marry, can end up getting remarried to somebody else, and the will that carry in the first instance, or arranged in the first instance, is null and void. I often meet people that discovered like years ago, sometimes I mean ludicrously, the beneficiary is still their ex. Or if they had a lasting power of attorney, for example, that they were across the yard in the last few months, that the attorney for his financial properties element of stuff was his spouse, his ex-spouse, so that he remembered he was quite horrified, so I don't want my ex-spouse to be controlling my finances. So the same thing can apply with the will.
Yeah.
People get remarried and they need to think about getting that will.
So with that in mind, after a lot of people have been married and had a divorce, one of the things they often say is, I'm never getting married again. What they really want to do is not have the divorce and the painful stuff. But they say, I'm never getting married again. And then they find somebody they like, they move in together and say, oh, we have a common law relationship. And that's not the same thing as a marriage, is it?
It's not from the point of view that you're right. I often people saying that they're hearing this common law, even the wife can't be. So under the law, it doesn't exist. And the effect that can have on people is you can, people that be all just collide and become invested in less than what was got to that point, that's obviously where you come in. Well, it's just like things happen and people get, into new relationships with people, sometimes moving together and that, for example, two different leading a new partner and she might own the property and moving and, loved up, etc. and have a really lovely relationship for the rest of their life. But you don't realise that if that was in that instance, as an example, if she passed away and there's no will in place, and he could get kicked out of the hole essentially because he sounds legally and it's inherit anything. It could take 11 years and then they get married and have kids and all sorts of stuff. And it's an absolute mess without having a will in place. So a will stop what happening if that person, example, that she could say, if I passed away, I don't want things to get out of the house to create a kind of wording within the document to say that he could live there until he passes away, and then the kids will get the money instead. Well, in the fact, just will the fact of living, it could be that in that example that her kids, years ago growing up, and just say, well, actually, we want the house, we're going to sell it, and there's nothing you can do about it. So it's a good thing to think about. There's a lot of positives with regards to the financial planning and estate planning when somebody is actually married from an inheritance tax point of view and all that kind of thing. Now, I'm not saying people should go off and get married, that's personal choice. Or there's some big pluses if you are married.
Yeah, you get the impression that the powers that be, whatever they are or want to call themselves, actually want people to be married.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I hate all this stuff. I mean, does it fit with the world that we live in now? Probably a lot, because, years gone by, my parents, for example, that's the way that, but, people often say that even if they insure a stay together, and stay married for, all of their life, that's not like that anymore. It's not like that. I mean, the stats are, I read somewhere recently that somewhere like late 40s, early 50% of people get divorced. So it's clearly a problem everywhere that we live.
Yes, which keeps me in business. It certainly helps anyway, but from my perspective, prevention is better than cure.
Absolutely.
So preventing those challenging financial catastrophes farther down the line is better than not, and preventing those marriage breakdowns is better than not. But so just coming towards the end of this episode now, I think. One quick question, as you mentioned, like critical insurance earlier. What's the difference between critical illness cover and serious illness cover?
Terminology, essentially. So we get sick. There's two types of cover, essentially. So we have income protection, which is events and free. Paying because of an income in the event that somebody gets ill. So for me, as an example, I'll use me because that's real. My policy covers anything. I was probably doing my own job, so my whole reputation. So if I have a mental health issue, if I have cancer or a stroke or a heart attack, and depending on that, I would have paid that same benefit level every month for £2,500 for all of the world to do my job. So arguably, if I have cancer, like close for the then he's sitting in cancer and going in, 6 months, I might get fixed, I've got medical insurance, I know fully within that feels important to me anyway, doing very near NHS at the minute. Well, if I got, radiotherapy, chemotherapy, whatever it may be, and it got better, and sickles all that, go back to where and benefit would stop. So income protection covers any kind of illness generally that stops somebody doing their job. Critical illness cover or serious illness cover is something that maybe if it's more serious, it could be cancer, could be heart attack, stroke, motor neuron disease, lots of things. I think the average kind of falls because somewhere like 40, 50 plus illnesses. Some of them could go over, I don't know, what we budget and etc. But the key difference is that it doesn't pay income, is it paying a lump sum. So people can insure for essentially whatever they can afford. So some working in finance at the minute, for example, and they want all of their mortgage protected in the event that they have a serious illness. Both I love them all. Statistically likely, but both of them. And essentially, their policy will have enough money in the event that did happen that they don't have cash to clear the mortgage off. So it can be structured in a million different ways. But that's the key difference. Critical illness doesn't cover things like mental health or musculoskeletal issues or things like that. So it's sometimes, depending on people's budgets, it's maybe having both or an element of both if it could cover that covers more bases into the element bases, I guess. What I'm trying to say.
So if someone's listening to this and would like to reach out and have a chat with you, what's the easiest way for them to find you?
They can give me a call. I like the old-fashioned telephone. I'm not to email, stuff like that, but my mobile number is 07971 289 686. They can email me call at how.financialreview.co.uk. They'll find me on Instagram, they'll find me on LinkedIn, and they'll also find me on Facebook, so they can be interested as well, if you want to. But if somebody does want to, they'll have experience that, we're not salespeople here. I genuinely care about what I do. Having to do it myself and have a number of my clients over the years that have been through this stuff. So we're not just here to sell insurance, we're here because the minute a claim comes in to help with that element of it, and I think that's often overlooked, because when the claim comes in for this kind of stuff we do, it's going to be quite life-changing for people. So, we want to help with that kind of stuff. And the final thing I'd like to say, Alan, is people who've got stuff in place, please don't assume it's up to date and it's fit for purpose, because the financial world changes and so that the products that are within it. So if they've got something in place, we offer what we call financially secure audit. So it's what we'll do is I've got somebody who's got already and make sure does it match their circumstances? Is it fit for purpose? Is it up to date? Could we get it any cheaper? Could we get it any better? And I can tell you that almost every person I speak to, they get a bit of a rude awakening sometimes when they find out that the insurance hasn't kept up to date with the kind of financial world that they're living, particularly cancer. Statistics so good. I'm willing to say this, how many two people will get cancer in a lifetime. All this how serious illness or critical illness policies might not cover cancer as extensively as a long policy will. But people don't know this because people don't know what they don't know. That's my favourite strap line, so I'll leave it at that.
Excellent. So, final question, and I ask this question to everybody without giving them any warning. Unless they listen to previous episodes, then they might have an idea what's coming. And even though we've been talking more about the relationship with money than relationships themselves, you're not getting away with it. So the question is, as this podcast is called Relationship Revolutions, if there were one thing that, from your perspective, would bring a revolution or evolution to the world of dating and relationships, what would it be?
Honestly, take you down to sit down and talk with your partner instead of going himself, I guess.
Yeah.
I think a lot of relationships, they're not all good. There's no perfect world where you can fix everything, but I think that from relationships could be fixed if people talk to each other or have a framework or a structure where they could do that.
Yeah.
And help somebody like what you do to facilitate that rather than going to the mediation element and trying to stroke over a career and there and spending thousands of pounds in legal fees. I think it's possible to save relationships if it's mentioned earlier.
Yeah, most definitely. Because I think as long as both parties in a relationship still want to keep that relationship alive and they're still on the same life direction, for want of a better term, then there's no reason why it can't work.
Well, you could have, cost of divorce or only to self divorce people, it can run into thousands of pounds. I have to say that you look at America, and maybe they think people in America are a bit batshit crazy, and I'm sorry to swear, but I think in places like America, people will rightly use therapists and experts, and I don't think it's kind of frowned upon as much as it is here. Like talking about mental health, for example, there's still a stigma here in the UK to mental health, and it's still a thing, isn't it? If people are all over about this kind of stuff, and get help and therapy and that kind of thing. So I think the same thing applies to race.
Absolutely. And on that note, thank you for coming on and sharing your wisdom with us.
Thank you for having me. It's been quite a talking to you and your listeners, and I hope some of the tips and stories I've told will benefit.
Thank you for listening. And if you haven't already, please leave me a review on your preferred podcast platform. Click the like button and also subscribe so that you get the new episode notifications. I'm curious, what did you take away from this episode? Please share your takeaways with me. Send me an email to relationship-revolutions@theloveengineer.rocks.